Okay. So let's pray. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Right. So, good evening. Today we are again here to study the Dhamma. So, before that, do you want to say anything about your homeworks or anything on this task?
I think it was pretty cruel asking us to do homework on the first ever Dhamma lesson as young, especially writing an essay.
Remember, you have to memorize.
Memorize what?
Memorize the one that we are studying.
What, the sets of two things?
Yeah. Alright, so last week we studied the sets of two. First one, so mindfulness and clear comprehension. Right? Now today we are focusing on the two virtues that protects the world. So that's called the Lokapala dhamma. Right?
Do you want me to read out what I wrote?
Lokapala dhamma. The essay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah. Come on.
Right, what I put? Sati lokasami jagaro. Through mindfulness, one awakens in the world. And then I put Sati lokasami jagaro is a Pali phrase from the Buddhist teachings, the Dhamma in brackets, that translates to mindfulness is the awakening or alertness in the world. It highlights the role of mindfulness, sati, in wakefully experiencing life rather than living in a state of delusion or carelessness. And then I've put lokasamin, often written as lokasami, derived from loka and smin, means in the world or among people. It is often used to describe things as they exist within the mundane sphere, such as lokadhamma, worldly conditions / phenomena. And then I put jagaro or jagara, derives from Pali Sanskrit roots meaning awake, vigilant or watchful, often referring to spiritual awareness or mindfulness in Buddhist context. It is often used as a Dhamma name for teachers, implying someone who is awakened and mindful. Then I've put similar phrases could be Sato va asasate. Mindfully he breathes in and breathes out. This is the core practice of mindfulness. Now I've put jagaro hotu, be wakeful / alert. Asamputa manasa, with an unscattered mind. On another one, apamado amatang padang from Dhammapada 21. Heedfulness in brackets vigilance is the path to the deathless that emphasizes the same alertness as jagaro. These phrases are generally aimed at maintaining a state of continuous awareness to avoid falling into unwholesome actions or thoughts. Sati reminds us to live a virtuous life and follow precepts so they can be free from harm of greed, hatred and delusion. People who practice meditation on a regular basis slowly develop samadhi, in brackets concentration, and wisdom, panya, over time, which will lead to a better, happier life in the present and not worrying about past and future events so much. People gain optimism and positive energy as a result from practicing meditation and mindfulness on a daily basis. As the Buddha said, whoever puts the Dhamma into practice will be happy both in this world and beyond.
Well done. I think only one, that's the first proverb that you quoted. The sati, what is the sati say?
Sato va asate. Mindfully he breathes in and breathes out.
So that's not a right proverb there.
Is it not?
No, but
No, but it says similar phrases could be. Is it not?
yeah, no, that's not the one.
Oh, well.
Okay, but the rest is very good. Well done. See, in first
Yes,
essay
it's
after
not
20 years.
It's not really a essay, is it?
No, this is an essay. Yeah, that's wonderful. Good. You have a good handwriting too. I will have it. Okay. So wonderful. Right? So similar way, taking another one and then write for next week. So maybe this week, today, we go on the evil action, maybe the first one, page number 22. Okay, the first one. Immorality is a stain in this world and the hereafter.
And the answer isn't in this book. No.
Okay, so today we are going to go with this Lokapala dhamma. So Lokapala dhamma, there are three words. Right? Number one, it's called hiri. Number two, it's called hiriottappa. Okay? Hiri is moral shame, and this is a moral dread. Okay? So, can you read the meaning? Hiri?
Hiri, or moral shame, is the guilt that one feels when one even thinks about committing an unwholesome or bad act, or when one realizes one has committed such an act unmindfully or without clear comprehension. It is like the revulsion one feels on touching something deeply unpleasant, dirty or filthy.
And then hiriottappa?
Hiriottappa, or moral dread, is the fear of consequences from an immoral act. It is the fear of touching something extremely hot, burning or scalding.
So hiri is something that comes from inside. Okay? It's coming from inside of you. This is from outside effect. Right? So hiri, feeling shame once you have done something and you feel shame. Right? And then based on a certain qualities, based on a certain status, you have a fear that it may defame or it may cause dirty in your name or your surname, like don't destroy my surname, like that. Eh? So that's coming from there. So that's why when we talk about the moral shame, it's coming from your inside thinking of your age, right? It could be because of your age, right? Could be because of your clan,
Your background.
yeah, clan or status, right? And then it could be your education, right? Like this. So based on this, one will avoid to do things, thinking that if I have done this one, it will bring shame on like a clan, to myself, like that. You know, it's like a current news.
Guilt.
Yeah.
Guilt.
Current news is a Prince Andrew's news, like that. If he had thought of the consequences of shame, and shame to him, and then shame to his clan, shame to his status, shame to his education and age, he would not have done like that. Okay? This is quite an important dhamma in fact. It actually helps us to be free. It's the dhamma that teaches humility, being humility and modesty as well. Now further on, it also gives freedom. We don't have to have any fear because you haven't done anything wrong to yourself as well as whatever in your background. So they will not feel ashamed of you. Like there's a story, like particularly like someone has somehow killed somebody, and then after a few years later caught and imprisoned. Then that imprisonment will cause not only himself to be humiliated, but also his family. And then not only his family, if he has certain status, then they also feel ashamed. Like that. Whereas, and that same person, if he thought of that, then he would not have done that act. So that is the hiri.
To put it plainly, all the bad things I did when I was younger, is that hiri or is it lack of hiri?
Lack of hiri.
Lack of hiri.
Yeah. If you had that conscience that if you have done that, it brings you feel shame, then you would not have done.
So it's a lack of hiri.
Lack of hiri. Okay? And then the one, now the second one is something that you have done and a feeling of consequences. Result of that doing, you are receiving it. It's like one you have done and you were caged. Like that. Okay? So that is the ottappa. But if you had known that, the action that you have done, then it will take you to the imprisonment, and then you would not have done that. Like that, right? So this is why it is known as a hiri and ottappa. Like a dhamma that protects the world. Now, often we think that you have rules, right? We have let's say a country rule. Not to do this, not to do that. These things. These are the rules. Rules cannot protect or prevent committing something is harmful or shameful. It's just creating the boundary, right? When you abide by the rules, what happens? That there is no fear of a dread, because there is no consequences, because you are not breaking the rules. Okay? And yet, this rule is just the outer shell. Okay? And that's why lots of people try to avoid the tax. Okay? Avoid the tax. So that doesn't mean he is okay with the moral dread. He knows that there is no consequences of that, of avoiding the tax, as long as till the book. Alright? How this happened? Because from inside you do not have that feeling. In case if it is caught, then that's the trouble then. So that's why the rules to govern the outside of our behaviors, whereas hiri is inside. These rules only valid when we mentally take it. Take it on board. Okay? So that's why this here, the hiri is talking about all the actions that we do, from physical action, physically doing actions, speech, and even thinking bad.
Yeah, but this contradicts itself. Moral shame sounds like something that's bad. So heavy is something that's bad.
You feel bad.
But then in this paragraph here it says it's good.
Which one?
No, it says good people respect and protect themselves and their loved ones by cultivating in their hearts this pair, hiri and ottappa.
Yeah. So a person who is practicing hiri would not commit anything wrong.
Yeah, up here it says hiri is moral shame, which sounds negative.
Moral shame, yes. So feeling of a moral shame, so that you don't do it. So that's why you are practicing hiri. That's a good person will be always conscious about that hiri. It's coming from inside. Ottappa is feeling fear of results of the actions. That's whatever we do through our physical body, and speech and mind. So that's why the rule becomes only valid when you mentally take it, and then always conscious of this hiri and ottappa. And that's how Lokapala means, pala means protect, loka means this world. So the principle protect world. Okay? So the dhamma that protects the world. Now these rules are created to protect the world, vulnerable people, or to put the in order in the country. And yet there are so many bad behaviors going on, so many crimes going on. Like these crimes and things, these rules cannot protect. It's there to know to show you that these should not be done. It only becomes valid and firmly practiced once you have this hiri and ottappa, that these should not be done. If I have done it, it brings me shame, and there is a consequences. Either I will be punished here and now, or later by punished by the police or the court for a long-term time.
But how do you cultivate more of hiri and ottappa?
So this is basically whatever you think that doing causes shame in you, by measuring your age, that I am now 50 years old, I should not be doing like a children, should not be behaving like a children. So that is breaking. So you become conscious of that and not committing that. Or let's say, oh, if I do this one, it will damage my
So is
clan.
that hurry when you're thinking like that?
Yeah, and you're not doing it, right? So when you not do that, then you don't need to worry about this one, because the action is not committed. So same with the clan. If I do this one, it will damage my surname, or my clan, or my family. Or suppose like you are in one organization and you are in a position, let's say a secretary, and you are bribed.
You're what?
Bribed by somebody.
Bribed.
Yeah, by somebody to let the whatever proposal passed on.
Mm-hmm.
In that case, now as being a secretary, so if he or she thinks that I am a good secretary, I should not be accepting these bribes, then she rejects or he rejects, then he is practicing that. So based on that status, he is rejecting to commit. So that's how. And the same with education, like I am in a, let's say, oh, I am a doctor, and now I should not be doing something like uneducated people, like that, and then stepping back and then not committing, like that. Okay. So when you are not doing in that way, then what happens that you put the brake on. So that's why hiriottappa is like a put the brake on. Any action that you want to do, any action you just about to do it, but thinking all these status, all these backgrounds, all these conditions, and having fear of the consequence that you may feel shame inside you. It's not from others, it's just coming from you.
So there are certain people who don't have any hurry.
Any hurry. Yeah.
Any hurry.
So that's why they have to worry about the consequences after they have done.
So hurry is something that's
coming from your inside.
It's conditioned into you, isn't it?
Hmm?
It's conditioned in.
Yes, conditioned, yeah. So fear of doing that, after you have done, fear of feeling ashamed inside you, so self-reflection, that these things should not be done, and then you avoid doing it. That's a hiri. And this is the one that's a very difficult one. So it's kind of sneaking. We are very good at sneaking. Or it's like lawyers try to find the little holes to break in and then preserve themselves or their clients in that position, despite they may have killed, but try to find a safe zone like that.
So when you're born, Ajahn, you're not born with hurry, are you? No.
We are not born with the hiri. These are conditions, social conditions. So that's why it protects the world. So the society that we are in, it protects the society, social condition, social values, social harmony and things. Right? So it's not coming from our birth. So it's just a condition, kind of a birth condition created with the birth, whichever community that we are in. Right? So that is hiriottappa is something that feeling the fear of consequences, right? And a fear that's called anottappa. The moment when you don't do it, your mind will be in a freedom of a fear, and you don't have any fear of going around. It's like suppose you are having drugs in your pocket, and if you see a police coming, may not be coming to you, but you have a fear.
Yes.
Like that. So the fear, the ottappa is like that. Yeah, ottappa is like that. So having constant fear in that. So that's why same with the 5 precepts. Now suppose we do something, and then let's say
If the hurry's got to come
Here he comes first.
Oh no, here's the police.
Yeah, here's police. So here police,
Uh-huh.
it's not a here police now. You already thought that if I possess this drug, the police may catch me or somebody sees me, and then they disfame my name, they disfame my family, they disfame my status. So he already thought of that and not having that drugs in him. So that's the first one, the hiri. And the ottappa is something, now you forget that one and thinking that, oh, it won't gonna happen. It won't gonna happen. So have it. And then suddenly you walk. You walk and then you saw somebody coming. May not be a police, but you will have this fear that maybe undercover police.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
So that's ottappa.
Ottappa, a fear.
Or is that Harry?
No, this is ottappa.
Ottappa, okay.
Yeah, it's an ottappa, a consequence that's coming from outside to you, inside. Right? So without. And the first one is within, this one is without. Okay? So it's coming from outside, and you feel fear. And you may have seen so many people that initially they thought that it's okay. Hiri was just not practiced, and they go on to take it. And then later on, what happened? People began to see or realize that you're taking a drugs. They will be telling you off. And not only that, it also makes other family members feel ashamed. Right? So it goes on. Right? So that's a hiri.
So would you be right in saying that the older you get, the more heavy you get?
It depends how responsible you are. How responsible you are. Now, the famous story now is this Prince Andrew. Prince Andrew, right? If he had thought that, then he would not have done. And because of that now, this would be the first in the history royal family, who is the brother of the king. Now this is far more historical than anything else, that a prince been investigated in the history, and that as a result, what happened? The king immediately had to issue a message saying that let's the law do it, like that. And so as a result of that, what's happening now? People are talking about the validity of the kingship or royalty, should have or should not, right? So that's coming to the shame to the clan, shame to the whole family, like that. But if he had thought that, then he would not have done that, and then the consequences is not there.
So the ottappa is there now for him.
Yes, this is the result now. Ottappa is there. So this is the reaction or result of what he had done, and now he's in trouble.
Would you be right in saying heavy is like wisdom then?
Reflection, reflective consciousness, kind of. There's wisdom, thinking of that. And if everybody practice these two, the society will be very peaceful and harmony. There won't be any jealousy. There won't be any lying. There won't be any troubling to any other people.
But how do you practice them?
This is how you reflect and not to do. Like beginning with the 5 precepts. Right? So do not commit, because seeing that after I have done, then if there is a result coming to me like this way and this way. Now the beauty here is the Dhamma is also known as a Deva Dhamma. Right?
Deva Dhamma, or the virtues of heavenly beings.
Yeah, Deva Dhamma. That basically means a person who is conscious of this dhamma, two dhammas, hiri and ottappa, and practices in accordance with that, that person is regarded as the deva, the heavenly being on earth. That person is not going to commit any bad actions at all. His mind is pure like a crystal. His mind has full compassion to himself and all other beings. He's free, fearless. Right? So that's what this...
But does meditation bring out these two virtues in you?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, that's why this practice is actually supporting, is a foundation to clear our mind, that we were talking about, the sila, right? Moral. This sila is actually the rules. This only becomes valid when we or truly valid when we are practicing this too. So with that, this is supporting freedom of our actions and our verbal actions. So that will directly supporting the calmness of the mind, right? Calmness of the mind. Peace. Peacefulness. And that's how you can gain the further development in the practice. There is no fear, there is no doubt, there is no confusion, there is only purity is there. Right? Only purity. And when the actions have been purified, and that supports not only for ourselves, it is also supporting others as well. A family member will be proud. Family will be very happy to see that, oh, my man or my girl, my boy is doing very well. The fame will automatically comes. Respect, fame, famous, being famous.
You may don't want to be famous.
It's not your choice, right? So fame, it automatically comes. Respect, automatically been given, despite you do not expect it. Because of your actions, people will respect. Okay? So that's why this Deva Dhamma is something that it protects the world from inside, not from the rule outside alone. So the moment when everyone, if possible, practicing this hiri and ottappa, basically there won't be any crimes. There won't be any drugs. All these drug dealers won't be there, knowing that it is causing a great trouble. The problem is they do not think it that way. They think only for their own shakes. That's why even the drug dealers, they won't allow their children to go closer to any things about these. They will put a lot of pressure on all the other people not to go closer to their own children. Seeing that. Right? So this is there won't be any cunnings.
There won't be any what, sorry?
Cunning. Yeah. Cunningness. Jealousy won't be there. And animosity won't be there. Right? So there will be a pure action that someone is free doing things. So physical action becomes pure. Mental, verbal actions become pure, and then thinking also always clear mind. That's why the person who is practicing this hiri and ottappa is known as Deva means celestial being on earth. Deva on earth. Right? So this is the hiriottappa. It's called a Deva Dhammati Uchchati. So this Dhamma is known as the virtue of a heavenly beings.
That's obviously not the whole Dhamma there for that, is it?
Mm-hmm. It's just in the book. It's a short explanation. It doesn't speak about, let's say, doing like here on the hiri, and doing from 3 doors: bodily, verbal, mental, right? And then in the description doesn't speak about these. Thinking of these, one will not be committing any bad actions. Choose not to do any bad actions or unwholesome actions.
Yeah, but that first one where you've got age, clan, status and education, is that the only?
Oh, there are many, but I gave you only this is what it's more visible. Okay. And then this one, the ottappa, is basically feeling of fear of the consequences, the action that one has taken. So that's why it's known as the Deva Dhamma or the Lokapala, that the virtue that protects the world. So everybody will be following the rules in accordance with it. No one will be breaking the rules if they have these principles in their minds. This doesn't apply to all the politicians. No one will be practicing this at all. Because a good politician will not be a politician.
Yeah, but who decided that this hira and ottappa are 2 virtues that protect the world?
It's not who decide. It's your action definitely protecting others. That's why the name is given. So once you are practicing these 2 principles, then they will not be committing any bad actions. Then automatically it's protecting. So that's why it's not a matter of who choose. It's called the Deva Dhamma, as a Lokapala, but it's just the principle that is. It's the character of it. This is one of the hardest principle in a way. Very hardest one, this one, to practice, because it's guiding yourself. You have to reflect in your own thinking. You have to reflect all the time, whatever you're going to do. That's why this is the hardest one. And you're always thinking of your age, you're thinking of your clan, you're thinking of your group, you're thinking of your status, you're thinking of your community, all sorts of things, whatever action you're about to do. That's why it's called being a modest, or humility is there.
Yeah, but if you're going to make a cup of coffee or something like that, you're not thinking about things like that, are you?
Who?
If you're going to make yourself a cup of coffee, you're not thinking.
Making a coffee, you doesn't apply here. So things that you are going to do, which has the effect.
Which you know are going to, which could be good or bad.
Like suppose you intentionally try to lie somebody, then that counts. Once somebody found that you lied, what happens? It brings the quarrel, conflict, and that brings disharmony. So that's right.
Okay, driving your car, are you thinking about
driving your car.
Uh-huh.
So driving your car, let's say if you're driving a car and then you go onto the road race, then you haven't considered of hiri. Right? You haven't considered of a hiri. You are under the influence of something beyond that.
Lokapala.
And then the result is the ottappa. You're going to get it. So it's like that's why I already said, it is like putting the brake. Putting a brake in our actions. Hang on. What I'm going to do, is it beneficial? Is it harmful? Is it shameful? Once you have thought about that one, then you withdraw yourself. So put the brake on, think about it, and then act. As I said, it's not easy one. This one is the hardest one. And this is the one that's everybody, almost all of us, breaking. That's why there are conflicts. There's harmony within ourselves as well as in the community. Simply because of that. A trust breaks here. Confidence breaks here. Mind is troublesome. Mind is troublesome. Right? So that's why this is also, this dhamma, that's why it's also a foundation for the sila. This is a foundation for the sila.
What's sila again?
Precepts. Right? So the precepts becomes a precepts, a real precepts, not a rule. Because of that, you will be always conscious that, okay, killing is not good. It has the consequences. Avoid. Stealing is not good. Consequences. But if you don't think about that one, you will just become a wild and kill and whatever you want to do, you will be doing. So this is hiri and ottappa. We'll end here. Anything you want to ask?
Right, this comes under a section called sets of two. Sets of two what?
Sets of two. It's a categories that we are at the moment. This chapter is talking only the virtues that has got the two principles. So after that, if you turn the next page,
There's sets and it goes all the way.
then there will be sets of three. So this goes on. It's chapter by chapter. This first chapter is categorized. This first chapter has got the principles, which has got two dhammas, like that. That's why it's called sets of two. And then after this, after 4, then there will be sets of 3, and then sets of 4, sets of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, and 12, like that. So increases, number of principles will increase gradually. So this is called a numeratical study. There's a discourse called, there is a book called Numerical Discourses. So this is from there. So here, numerical discourses from a 1, if I remember correctly, up to the 12, and then miscellaneous. Okay? Right, so we stop here and then get ready for the chanting later. Okay? So, sadhu. Okay. Let me see battery.